Yo, what's going on, people? You know, when it's charge time, it's content time. Today I want to talk about relationships in the Western world. Who really wears the trousers in a relationship in the Western world? Is it the wife? Is it the husband? Is it the man? Is it the woman? First of all, I'm British, but I come from a Nigerian background. And I was born here though, but you know, my roots stem back to Nigeria. And the way culturally we're brought up, that the man is the head of the home. And it's funny because I feel like in this day and age now, yeah, I still stand by those beliefs, of course, like let's not get it twisted. But I feel like what that actually means, um, us men kind of need to revise that. Like, not, well, there's some unlearning to do when it comes to how to lead your household, or what the head of the home means in this Western world, because also you have to be careful with that as well. And again, this might be a common phrase that you find in my content, but I've learned the hard way. Do you get what I'm saying? So you know, basically, I've had a few relationships, and I'll speak from experience as well as what I've learned. You know, the lessons that I've had to take on, and what I think could make something work. Because now I'm in a relationship where I'm more mature in how I handle things and who I am. You know, I've got a bit of age on me now, and a bit of experience to understand things better. And I've seen common thread. I'm in a relationship now, but nothing's ever perfect. The end goal is to make it last, right? Is to make it work. If you walk down the aisle, what would they say? For better or for worse? You know what I mean? And I remember one time one of my friends said to me, yeah, because obviously I've had relationships that no longer exist, you know, that I broke up from. And then every time you get like a new girl, or you're in a new relationship, the narrative is always, oh, this is better than my last, or this is now I've picked this one right. Like, you always think that you've picked better, and you've always think, or you would like to think that, you know, whatever's new is better than what was in the past, right? So I remember my friend said to me, I must have kind of been explaining this when I got into my relationship, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, she submits to me, like all of these things that a man would want, right? And he said, that's all good, yeah, but you know, women change, like they do, like, you know, when you put the ring on them, sometimes they change and everything. And you know what it is? It's not that I think there's truth to that, but I think that's with everything, and they probably would say the same thing about us as men. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, we change over time, but all that is that people get familiar. You know, you're able to show yourself more, your emotions. You know, when you live with someone, you're kind of like no holds bar, and that is actually the safety of the relationship, to be no holds barred. My missus always says to me, be very worried if I don't mention anything to you and I'm just in my head. And that's true. That's how you'll be none the wiser, and your woman will just cheat. She'll either cheat, or she'll be planning her exit, and you'll be none the wiser. So when your woman's expressing, it's actually a good thing. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so what I'm basically saying now is that over time, when you're in a relationship, you get familiar, you know, you spend a lot of time with any human, you're gonna have arguments, all of that stuff, yeah. But I feel like in the past, what I've always done and what I guess we believe in as men is that, well, no, maybe not all men, but when you believe like you're the head of the home and you're the leader and you can't have it and you've got that macho energy, you tend to feel like that's the right way to go about things, and like you're backing yourself and you're not getting, you know how we get taught like, don't have it, you're the one that wears the trousers, who wears the trousers in the relationship and all of that, and you feel like you have to be the head and you can't have shit, you can't take nothing, and then you back yourself and whatever. I've always kind of believed that, yeah, but it doesn't always work out well. Because the truth of the matter is, yeah, what I have found in this life is that when things go bad, yeah, the women always win the pity of others, and especially in the Western world, yeah, women are looked after or seen as, I don't want to say can't do no wrong because we know that women can do wrong, but I feel like you're always looked at as worse off when you react or when you like stand your ground. Like, women are very smart at being a victim. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying, like, the truth is, like, women are more expressive with their hurt and pain, and they I don't know, there's just ways they can form narratives that will make men look bad. In other words, I don't really think you can win, or in my experience, I've never won playing the big macho man that's not gonna take shit with a woman. It just don't work. In certain ways, if you look at the system in the Western world, it kind of favors the woman, and I'm not talking about in the job market as such, but I'm talking about in the home, kind of favors the woman more. We could go into systemic stuff about how that really affects the black family, but I won't go too deep into that, yeah. We have to be careful with it, and that means unlearning some bad behaviors that could come across a bit abusive. That also means revising what it is to be the head of the home. I believe you can still be that, but it looks different. So old me, if I get into some drama, I'm more defensive than anything. And I'm gonna react as if, no, I run things, you don't run things here. Yeah? But now, I have to realize things. I have to think about it. I have to think about the outcomes. If I act in the wrong way, even if I'm not the one that started it, I act in the wrong way, or I'm too rude, or I hurt the woman's feelings, then it's me that looks bad. And however it started goes out the window. It's just me. That's just how it is. We have to take that because we're meant to be the men that could handle things, you know. The goal is to build family, break generational curses. It's bigger than me now, so I have to now actually learn to put my own personal feelings aside when things go negative, right? So I've actually realized that women are emotional beings, and we say this a lot, but do we really know what it means? It means that they're gonna act out, they're gonna cuss you, they're gonna have bad days, they're gonna have good days. They're gonna have days where they're on their monthly cycle and they're really aggressive and they're gonna say so many hurtful things. Not so many, let me not talk like all women are mad. Some women, they'll just, let me say nagging maybe, because not all women are gonna chat rude to you, and I'm not saying that you should just stand there and have it. But they can be nagging, they can be annoying, they can, they go through different emotions because of their womanhood, their cycles, their hormones, all of these things. Um, and it's funny because my friend was saying to me that, oh, women change, but I don't, like I was saying before, I don't think it's to do with changing. I just think the cycle of a woman is so crazy, like all the things they go through, that once you do get familiar and you are around them a lot or live with them, you're gonna experience every type of mood, and you can't run away from it. Yeah, there are some women that are nicer than some others. Yeah, but you can't run away from experience a woman um, to the full extent. Basically, the only thing I will personally say is we know what proper disrespect is, and I will never say stand for disrespect. I will never say that. So obviously, if it gets to that point, then maybe you need to revise the relationship. If it gets to a disrespectful point where you're being violated, like, then there's no respect. But for me, women are always gonna test you. They're always gonna nag and all of that stuff. As men, we need to be disciplined to neutralize, you know, to fix things, in other words. And I think that's where the real manhood comes. Before, like I said, I used to think it was about standing your ground, not having it, you know. And the thing is, women, they can go on. Like, I'm not saying women are catty, not my words, but that whole cat fight comes from feminine energy, right? So we don't really need to be going back and forth like that. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we should be neutralizing, even if they've offended us. Like, there's a thin line between them talking out of emotions and maybe shading you in the process, and then being outright disrespectful. And I'm not saying no man should stand for disrespect, like, but you have to handle it in a mature manner. But I'm not saying that you should just get abused, because that's the thing. Mental abuse, verbal abuse is just as bad as physical abuse, but those things, you can't, they go unsaid, that you can't really see bruises from mental or verbal abuse. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying anyone should stand for that, but all I'm saying is that I think the power of a man, yeah, is to neutralize and look at the bigger picture. And I think the bigger picture in a setting, in a relationship setting or a marriage setting, is you know, staying strong for the next generation, setting a good example for the kids, building a family, building wealth, keeping the empire strong. Do you know what I mean? And that's how you grow as a community, because if everyone's doing that in your community, then you've got families that can now work together. So if I now make it a race thing, this is how you build your race. Do you know what I mean? If everyone's following that pattern, right? So I think there's a bigger picture when it comes to family dynamics and all of that. And for me personally, I feel like I have a mission, and that's what I'm trying to follow. And, you know, Jay-Z once said, nobody wins when the family feuds. So no one actually wins. So how can you still maintain, or how can you maintain being the head of the home, yeah, but back down from arguments and stuff with your women, or let your woman get away with telling you off or doing all these things, nagging? I think what it is that still helps you maintain that alpha energy or that masculine energy is the mindset that you take, even if you're losing the argument, yeah? And what that is knowing that you need to overcome this situation by reducing the hostility in your household, so that you guys can move forward as a family, yeah, rather than carry on tensions. and everyone suffers in the house as a result of that. You need to look at the bigger picture. You need to be the overseer. You know what this turns into. You know what this can lead to. You need to oversee it. Be the general overseer of that household. So no matter what, you're the one actually keeping things in control. The lady can be all hyping to you, doing whatever, but you know that you're keeping your family together and you're making sure things are running smoothly in a house without tension, once you start going into yourself, and I tend to do this, and this is something I'm learning not to do. Once you go into yourself and you're like, F this, like, who does she think she's talking to? And you've now got that tension and you're thinking of yourself rather than the household or the marriage or the relationship. Things just go left after that. So as a man, as a father, as a husband, you need to think of the whole household in its entirety rather than how you feel. And that's where the masculine energy comes in, I think. That's when, you're still running things, but you're running things behind closed. Like, you're running things at the back end. Do you know what I mean? And it's funny because women would say how they want a man that could put them in their place. Yeah? But the truth is they don't want that. Yeah? I'll tell you the truth what women want. They want a masculine man that won't have shit outside of the house, yeah? That is respected out there, right? Real alpha energy outside of the house. But in the house, they could talk to him how they want and he won't do nothing about it because he loves them or loves her. So that's what they really want. Because the moment if you're respected outside and you're this tough guy outside, the moment you respond with that same energy to them, you're getting in trouble, mate. Like, they will play the victim, and then on top of that, if you get too aggressive, they can get you in trouble. They can get you arrested or whatever, get restraining orders, all of these things. Men lose like that, do you know what I mean? So that's what they really want. They don't really want someone that's going to put them in their place. They want someone that can do it, or can do it outside and is known for doing that outside, putting people in their place, but won't do it to them. So the reality of the situation is, in this day and age, or in the Western world, women have more power than you think. So you've got to play the game smart and be the general overseer, basically. That's what I'm calling it. Do you know what I mean? A lot of men will say, yeah, but this is why I ain't trying to be in no relationship. Like, everything's changed now. Women are this, women are that. Like, the last thing I'll say to the man them is, honestly, if you want like a traditional woman, you're going to have to look out of the West in this day and age, because in the West, the women are getting more and more powerful. Not only are they doing well in the corporate world, they're also taking all you lot's money without actually having to be wives or anything. And it's starting to look more and more appealing for them. So a lot of men will act like all these girls out here are moving mad and whatever, but they can set up OnlyFans account and there'll be bare man signing up for it. Now that woman's a millionaire. So many women are now becoming sly escorts and all these things. Like, it's crazy out here. Like, women have a lot of opportunity to make money. Yes, I know there was this whole equal rights thing, and I get it, like, but now in this day and age, there's a lot of opportunities because a lot of men are still chasing women. They're just making out that women can't be wifed. But what I'm trying to say is, what that does, the over sexualization of women, and then, everyone doing this hookup culture thing, all it does is actually make women more powerful. And they can now live their life, without being a partner or anything like that, make all the money, and now in their mind there's no use of a man. Do you know what I mean? They just see you like as tricks. So I feel like as a man now in dating in this era, if you're looking for that traditional woman, go and look somewhere in the African village, go Thailand or any of these kind of third world countries, and maybe you'll find them there. But in this Western world, you can still find a respectable woman, you can still find a good woman, but you now have to adapt to, you know, modern day standards in the Western world in a relationship and still maintain your masculinity. So I'm still be the head of the home, you know, but it looks different now. It's not so much of a I have all the power and you have to just listen to me. It's more of a, you know, I understand how this game goes and I'm going to be the bigger man and handle this and use my logical masculine energy to drive our family forward, however that looks. Whether, you know, the woman's got a job as well and she's working with you, whether, however it looks, there's just different things, you know. But you have to learn to work with a woman in this day and age and understand that things look different. It's not so traditional, especially in the Western world. Relationships are not easy, they're hard. The way media and the world portrays it now, it seems better to be single, but it's not for me, especially if you're thinking of your legacy and growing old and all of this thing, man. So yeah, I'll leave by saying that. Like, comment, subscribe.